and welcome to another lawnfawn video. Today we are so excited to be introducing our brand new die, Magic Iris Heart Add-on. This Magic Iris Heart Add-on works perfectly with our interactive Magic Iris die to give it a fun and cool new look. We're also going to introduce our brand new stamp set, Magic Heart Messages, which look amazing on cards, and they were sized perfectly to work with that Magic Iris Heart add-on. They were also sized perfectly to work with this other new die, which is our Radiant Heart Backdrop. This die is so gorgeous, and I can't wait to show you all of these, so let's go ahead and get started. First, we're going to take a look at the Magic Heart Messages, and the first one here says Happy Valentine's Day in this beautiful heart shape, and it's just gorgeous. Then the next one that we have is my favorite one, and it says You Make My Heart Happy, which I think is just so beautiful in that heart shape. Then we also have some tiny little phrases that are included in this set. We have an XOXO, moi, which is so cute. We also have hugs and kisses. And we have Sending Love. I really like that one. We have I Love You. And we also have another phrase that's great for Valentine's Day, of course, which is Hello, Valentine. We have a sentiment that says Would you be mine? And then we also have Love You Lots, which I know I'm going to be using all year round. I love that there's things that are perfect for Valentine's Day and perfect for year-round cards too. Now I'm going to add some color to these beautiful hearts using my Copic markers, but one of my favorite ways to use these hearts is to heat emboss them with white or gold or silver. Oh my gosh, they look absolutely gorgeous. So on the top one, I just added some little pink highlights, which I think looks really, really pretty. And then on this bottom one, I'm actually filling in all of these cute little leaves with some green marker, and you can see it kind of pop and come to life. And then for the word heart, what I'm going to do is add a little bit of dark pink at the bottom, and then I'm going to blend it out with my lighter pink towards the top to give it this fun kind of gradient look. Now here is the coordinating die for Magic Heart Messages. And you'll see that it lines up perfectly with both of these images. So I like that you could stamp this image directly on the card, or you can line up your die, hold it in place with some low tack tape, and then run it through the die cut machine, and you'll have these perfect cut little hearts. And this heart die fits over both of the messages. And oh my goodness, these heart messages are so beautiful. These are now die cut and perfect to add on a card. I would love to add them above a cute little critter. Now here we're going to take a look at our Magic Iris Heart add-on. And this die gives you this beautiful cover plate for the Magic Iris that has the heart-shaped opening. It also has a little tab that you're going to be able to put in that notch there, and we'll show you how to do that on a card in just a little bit. And it also die cuts a heart shape as well. As you can see, it fits right in there. And to show you how this works with the Magic Iris, we've already created a Magic Iris mechanism, and don't worry, later on in the video we'll create one from scratch. And I wanted to show you how this little tab is going to line up. So you'll add some adhesive onto the tab, you'll layer it onto the tab of the Magic Iris, and then you can just trim off the excess, just like you can do with the original Magic Iris add-on that has that circle shape. Now we just get a really cute heart shape. So we're going to trim off that excess, and here you'll see how it's going to line up right there, and you're going to have the Magic Iris interactive opening but with a heart-shaped window. Now here is that little die cut piece that comes from the center of the Magic Iris Heart add-on, and we just wanted to show you how these messages fit perfectly inside from the Magic Heart Messages. So we're just going to ink that up, and you'll see that it is a perfect match for the inside of the Magic Iris Heart add-on. And just look how cute that is right there. And here is what it looks like when you add one of the Magic Heart Messages to the inside of the Magic Iris, and that is just so absolutely beautiful. And I love that the Magic Heart Messages are a perfect fit for the Magic Iris add-on, but you can also do other designs inside this heart-shaped opening, like adding an adorable little critter. I mean, look at this. Look at that fun heart-shaped surprise that there would be when you open that Magic Iris. Now we're going to take a look at the Radiant Heart Backdrop. This cuts a backdrop that's a standard size card size, 5.5 by 4.25. It also cuts that little heart shape in the middle and these fun little confetti hearts if you wanted to make this Radiant Heart Backdrop into a shaker. My favorite thing to do is to add colored cardstock or pattern paper behind the Radiant Heart. It fills in all of those little rays and gives such a beautiful look. And here you can see how you could fit the little heart that it die cuts right on the inside. And just like we were able to with the Magic Iris Heart add-on, you can also stamp the images from Magic Heart Messages into the Radiant Heart. So I love that everything is mix and matchable, which is so awesome. So here you'll see we're going to stamp one of the heart messages right into the heart that the Radiant Heart Backdrop die cut. And then you're able to fit that right inside for a super cute message inside of the heart. And here you can see how you could use those tiny little hearts like confetti inside if you made it into a shaker, or you can use the hearts to decorate the outside of your radiant heart too, or you can put your messages or a little critter inside. And I just think this is so gorgeous, and we have two amazing cards in this video using the radiant heart backdrop. But first up, we're going to start creating a magic iris. And if you have never created a magic iris before, make sure to check out the intro to magic iris video. We will link it in the description below. We're going to start off by die cutting the different magic iris pieces out of white cardstock. We're going to be die cutting one of the rings there. We're going to die cut 3 stabilizers, a tab, 3 of the sausage looking pieces, and then we're going to take this kind of flux capacitor kind of looking piece there. We're going to line it up right in the center of that ring, and then we're going to run it through the die cut machine, and it's going to give us this really cool design on one of the rings. Then we're going to die cut 2 more plain rings that we're going to be using to create our magic iris. We're going to start off with the one that we die cut those extra details out of, and we are going to start fitting the different sausage shapes into those slots. So you'll see we're going to take that little tab and feed it right in, and you'll see that the interior curve of those pieces is going to line up with the interior curve of the magic iris ring. So there, we're just going to fit that piece right there, and you'll see how these are going to start to line up. Next up, we're going to take some mini glue dots, and we're going to be adding those to those little X's that the die created for us. You can see there's a little kind of X marks the spot. We're going to add our mini glue dot right to those 3 X's. And the mini glue dot size, it's an important size for the glue dot. It's what helps make the whole magic iris work. So we're going to pick up that 3rd glue dot and line it up with that 3rd little X marks the spot. Next, we're going to make sure that everything is lined up so that the interior curve of those sausage pieces is lined up with the interior curve of the inside of the ring. And once those are all in placement, we're going to take another ring and we're going to lay it right on top, and it's going to adhere to those 3 glue dots that we added. So you just kind of line them right up and press down, and that's going to secure it in place. Next, we're going to flip this whole thing over, and you'll see that the die created these little dotted lines there. We're going to add adhesive from the inside to the outside edge of the ring, lined up right with those dotted lines, just like that. Then we're going to take our stabilizer pieces and we're going to line them up with the adhesive that we just added. And you'll see that there's a curve on those stabilizer pieces, and that's going to line up with the curve of the inside of the ring. And so we'll add our 3rd one right there. Then we're going to take the whole thing and we're going to flip it over so that we're looking at the front. And we're going to start working on the tab. So we're going to make sure that one of those little stabilizer pieces is pointed straight at us, kind of straight at your belly, just like that. Then we're going to add adhesive halfway down the back of that tab, and we're going to line it up so that that little curve of the tab is lining up with the interior curve of the ring, and it's going to kind of line up and make almost like a little V shape with that bottom tab, and you'll see what that shape is right there. Then we're going to add adhesive to each of those stabilizers. So we're going to make sure to add some tape runner just like that to each stabilizer. Then what we're going to be doing is we're going to take that 3rd ring there, and you're going to put that 3rd ring, and it's just going to layer right over top. You're not going to add any adhesive to it. You're just going to lay it right over top, just like that. Make sure everything's lined up nicely, and then you can start to wrap your stabilizer pieces around. And you're going to make it just kind of like a gentle hug. It doesn't need to be a tight hug. You want to make sure it's not too tight. And so you'll see when you'll wrap it around, those stabilizer pieces are not going to reach the interior edge, and that's correct. That's exactly how you want it to look, just like that. So you're just going to wrap it around and press down, and now you can test your magic iris and you'll see that it's going to close. It's just the coolest thing. Look at that. Oh my gosh, it's absolutely amazing. I just think these are just so much fun. So now that we have our magic iris mechanism working, we're going to start working with our brand new magic iris heart add-on. So we're going to die cut this from some white cardstock, and we're going to die cut the decorative tab that the magic iris heart add-on comes with too. We're going to bring in our magic iris interactive mechanism here. And the first thing we should do is add our tab, but we kind of forgot that part. So we're going to add adhesive onto that front top ring there, just like that. That's going to be eventually how we add it to the magic iris, but first you need to add the tab on. So we're going to flip the tab over. We're going to add some adhesive along the bottom of that tab. And then we're just going to line it up with the tab that already exists on the magic iris. This is going to convert the tab into one that works with the magic iris heart add-on. Then all you can do is just trim off that little bit of excess that's peeking out, and now you have a brand new shaped tag that actually has a little arrow that can tell the recipient what to do. Then what you're going to do is you're going to line up that tab so that it completely fills in that notch. You'll see you have a nice straight line there, and then you can just press down on the magic iris, and because we added that adhesive, it's going to hold it perfectly in place. Now, before we start to decorate this, we're actually going to be stenciling over the entire of this magic iris with the whole thing put together. And the cool thing about this is it's going to give this cloud stencil design not only on the magic iris add-on with the heart shape, but also on to those little moving pieces too, which is really, really cool. So here you can see we have the cloudy stencil and some merman ink, and we're starting on the stencil and then moving on to our magic iris heart add-on, creating a really cool cloud shape. And so we're going to keep turning the stencil so that we have different shaped clouds and moving on down. And we're going to go right over that heart opening and right down into those little moving mechanisms of the magic iris mechanism. And this is like such a perfect way to stencil a design onto the whole thing so that the whole thing feels really continuous. So we're just going to keep stenciling on down, and you'll see just how pretty this is looking. Oh, I love it so much. Next up, this sky needs a ground. So we're going to use that same magic iris heart add-on there because we want to make sure that it has the same stitching detail on everything. And we're going to die cut some of this beautiful what's sewing on paper to be our grass. So there you can see we have that same die so that we have the same detailed edge on everything. And we're going to be using one of these simple grassy hillsides here. And we're going to die cut a little mound of grass for our cute little porcupines to sit on. And so we can just add some tape runner to the back of that and then layer that at the bottom of our sky. Now next up, we're going to add this to some beautiful pattern paper. This is some really rainbow paper that's just so bright and happy. And what we're going to do is we're going to add some foam squares into the corners. So we're going to add the larger foam squares there, and then up over by that little pull tab, we're going to add a smaller foam square, and then we're going to make sure to put adhesive on those 3 stabilizers. That's the only place that you want to put adhesive. Then we'll peel up the liner paper on all of those foam squares, and we can flip this whole thing over and attach it on to this beautiful rainbow pattern paper, just like that. And it just gives it such a bright and pretty look. Then we're going to bring out the Porcupine for You stamp set. We went ahead and stamped and colored and die cut a bunch of images from this set, and we're going to fill them into our cute little scene. So we're going to add this fun little tree here, and then we're going to layer some leaves onto the tree. And then we're going to add the cutest little hugging porcupines ever. I mean, look at these little guys. And then I love that magic iris heart-shaped opening right over top. Then we're going to add some cute little mushrooms into the background. And then next we're going to work on our sentiment. So here we have some peacock cardstock. We're going to prep it with an anti-static powder tool. And then we're going to go ahead and stamp a message from the Magic Heart Messages. We're going to use the Would You Be Mine to help turn this into a Valentine's card. So we're going to stamp that in some clear embossing ink. Then we're going to sprinkle some white heat embossing powder over top. We'll tap off any of the excess, and then we're going to heat it up with a heat tool to get a nice bright white shiny sentiment. We're going to take out some different sentiment banner dies, and we're going to line up the perfect size one with our sentiment, and then we can hold it in place with some low-tack tape and run it through the die cut machine. And then we're going to layer this on to our sky. So I like that we'll have part of the sentiment here with this banner, and then the rest of the sentiment is going to be in our magic iris. So we're just going to layer that, and then we can just use some scissors to trim off the excess of the banner at the edge of the card. Next, we're going to take out our Magic Heart Messages, and we're going to be stamping out the Happy Valentine's Day message, and we're going to stamp that out in some lobster ink. Then we're going to use the coordinating die that comes with Magic Heart Messages, and we're going to line that up with our cute little phrase here, and we're going to hold that in place with some low-tack tape and then run it through the die cut machine. And that's going to give us this cute little stitched heart with the sentiment inside, and we're going to be layering this into our magic iris. And there are 2 ways that you can add your heart in. So you could take your heart and you can actually just add some adhesive on the back and then layer it right inside the opening like this. But sometimes with the heart shape, that can be a little tricky. So we wanted to show you an even easier way to add your cute little heart message or whatever you might stamp on your heart that you want to go inside of your magic iris in. And so what we're going to do is we're going to flip this over and we're going to add adhesive to cover the entire back so that it glues down to the base of the card really nicely so that the magic magic iris can work above it. And then we're actually going to be tucking it in from the side. And so here we're going to show you a little bit. So you can actually fit your finger right in there. There's actually an opening where there's no adhesive because that's where the magic iris mechanism is moving. So you can just tuck your heart right in there, right behind, and then just add it just like that. And it's just so just quick and easy, easy peasy to do it that way. So that's the way we did it. And we can just press down and then you can see that the magic iris works perfectly. So the next thing we need is a card base. So we're going to add some tape runner to a standard size card base. It's 5.5 by 4.25. And then we can layer our whole super cute interactive card right on top. And now this card is all done. And oh my goodness, this is just the cutest thing ever. I am so in love with this card. I just love the heart-shaped opening with the magic iris. It feels so magical, especially how the whole thing just kind of blends into the sky and then it opens up with the Happy Valentine's Day message above the cute little critters. I mean, oh my goodness, I love this so much. I love that it's perfect for Valentine's Day, but really for all year round because the You Make My Heart Happy could be cute for a awesome kind of thank you card. So, oh, I just love this so much. And next up, Shari is going to create 2 incredible cards using the Radiant Heart backdrop. So take it away, Shari.
So I'm using some images from the Porcupine for You stamp set for my card today, and I've already colored and cut those out with the coordinating dies. And I'm using the Radiant Heart backdrop die, and I will be cutting this from some really rainbow paper. And I wanted to cut this from that big fat rainbow stripe right here so we get that whole rainbow across the whole front of the card. I'm lining up this backdrop so that it is at the bottom, so I get that purple stripe all the way up to that dark pink stripe, and then that light pink stripe will just be chopped off. So I have the full rainbow on this panel, and I just think that this is really fun. And then I'm cutting a piece of Pixie Dust Sparkle cardstock, just slightly smaller than 4.25 by 5.5, so I've made it a 1/16 less on each side so that it will tuck behind this perfectly. I'm putting this onto a card base, and you can see there that it doesn't go quite to the edges, but that's okay because it's going to be covered up by this background panel. I've put some liquid glue around all 4 sides and down between the rays, and I've avoided the heart in the center because I may need to tuck some things up behind that heart. So now I'm going to add my little images, and I have this little porcupine. I want him to come out of this heart like this, but I don't want to see the rest of his body through those openings that are cut in the backdrop. So I just traced a line with a pencil and trimmed off the bottom of the image, and now he can be added right like he's peeking out of the heart, but we won't see any of the rest of his body through those die cut rays. I also have this little flower that I'll put in his hand. And of course, I'm using liquid glue for all of these images because I'm gluing this to that glitter cardstock, and I want to make sure that it is nice and glued down since that is a rough textured cardstock versus a smooth just paper. Now I wanted to add the little snail, but I decided he needed somewhere to go, and so I stamped out the small tree from this set, and I'm trimming it off. I've only colored part of it there just to give the snail a little place to land so he can be up high on this little branch. So I've got that looking the way I want it to go, so I will go ahead and use my liquid glue to glue these pieces down. Again, this is just the tip of that small tree, and I'll tuck the edge that I trimmed off behind the heart so it'll be nice and tidy. And I'm just making sure that I have enough of it sticking out to where my snail has a place to land. And then I can add some liquid glue to the back of him as well and pop him right inside the heart too. Now I wanted to add some heart garlands to the top, and I know that this is the landscape version of the heart garland backdrop, but just stick with me because you're going to see why I'm using the landscape versus the portrait. This one is wider than I need, so I don't have the frame on each side. As if I used the portrait, I would have a frame that went all the way around. And I cut the top of the frame so it's holding my garlands together. I'm adding my liquid glue, just some dots on the back of each of the little hearts. When I line this up, I'm going to make sure that that frame piece is hanging off the top of the card so that I can trim it off easily. And then now that I have this all in place and it was really easy to put down as one piece, I can just take my scissors and trim off those extra pieces that are sticking out on the sides. And then I will go and trim off where it's connected to the frame at the top. And then I can just discard this piece that was holding them together. And that is just a really fun way to get those garlands there. Now, if I'd used the portrait, of course, I would have had the frame on the left and the right, and it just would not have had the same look that I wanted. I've used some gold glitter cardstock to cut out the little hearts, and I'm just adding those to the garland with some little dots of glue on each little heart. Now this is looking really cute, but I need to add a sentiment. So I am pulling out the folded banner. This is also part of that heart garland landscape backdrop. I cut this from some fog cardstock, so it's nice and light and everything shows up, but it's not that stark white color. And then I'm folding on the score lines that the die creates to create those little folded details on each end. So I'm folding it back and then folding it back forward so that the little tails stick out on each side. Now when I do a folded banner like this, I like to add foam squares to the center, and then I'm just adding a little glue dot, or you could also use just some liquid glue on the little folded pieces that will go flat onto the background. So I've just pulled off the liner paper for those foam squares, and I'll just line this up right below the heart. The stripes make it really easy to get it nice and straight. And then here's my finished card with those cute little critters in the heart. I love the rainbow background with the sparkles showing through, and I love those little heart garlands at the top as well. The card that I am creating was inspired by a card by Yainea. I've already colored my Porcupine for You images and cut them out with the coordinating dies. I'm pulling out a variety of green patterned paper scraps from Watercolor Wishes, Watercolor Wishes Rainbow, Spiffy Speckles, and Stripes and Sprinkles. And I'll be using these fern-shaped dies from the Happy Mushroom die set to cut out a variety of green ferns. I am also using the Radiant Heart backdrop for my card, and I will be cutting that from some kraft cardstock. I have a piece of pink Spiffy Speckles paper cut down to 4¼ by 5½, and this is going to layer behind my background panel so that you see that pink peeking through all those rays as well as the heart. I've just gone around all 4 sides with my liquid glue around the heart and between the rays just quickly to make sure that this is adhered down to the pattern paper well. Now I am changing this a little bit from Yainea's card. I will be stamping my sentiment inside the heart with the new Magic Heart messages. This cute little message fits perfectly inside this heart, and I have lined that up, picked it up with the door of my Misty, and I'll just stamp this in some black ink directly inside that heart onto that pink pattern paper. Now this sentiment stamp does have some little openings in the design, these little leaves, as well as the word heart. And I'm just using some colored pencils to fill in those little openings and give some color to this stamp sentiment. So I'm using green for the little leaves on the little vines. And then I will go in with pink. There's some little dots that I'm adding the pink to, and then I'll use the pink for the word heart as well. Now I can put some adhesive on the back of this panel and put this onto a card base, and then I'll be ready to start decorating my card with my images and my die cuts. So I have my little images here and my die cuts. I did forget that I needed some little clouds, so I'm going to pull out the Spring Showers die set and cut some little cute stitch clouds. And I'm using a piece of scrap paper from Watercolor Wishes Rainbow. This is just from a 12 by 12 piece that I had scrap, and I'm actually using the line between those two sort of different shades of blue to give a couple of my clouds like a two-tone look. So you can see I get 3 different clouds with using that pattern paper, and they're not all the same color. I also have a piece of Spiffy Speckles paper here. This is cut at 3¼ inches wide, so it is not as wide as the panel. We're going to stop short on each side. And I'm using the Grassy border die to cut the top of it to give myself a little grassy detail for my porcupines. So they're going to stand right here on each side of that heart sentiment. And I will go ahead and put some foam adhesive on the back. And I did stick these down, but I ended up pulling them up and just kind of laying them there because I want to tuck the ferns that are die cut from all the green colors behind them. So I'm just going to kind of lay them here lightly. They're not going to be completely stuck down. I pulled them back up so that I could tuck some things behind them. So I'm just using the ferns in the different pattern papers, just making sure that I don't have any two colors that are exactly the same right beside each other. And I like the different variation that you get by doing this. Now, those look all the same, but once we put this porcupine here covering them up, it's not going to be so obvious. And then we also have these cute little mushrooms to add to the bottom so that it looks like the fern is growing out from behind the mushrooms. I'll pull off the little guy on the right, and I'm going to do the same thing on this side, but this fern is actually pretty long, so I'm going to be trimming a couple of the pieces down. So I'm starting with this long one first. That's going to come right up here beside the heart. And then for this one, I decided I needed to trim it down a little bit. It was a little too tall, so I'm cutting off 2 of the leaves at the bottom to make a custom length shorter fern to tuck right here. And then there is a tiny little piece of fern in this die set, and I'm using that for there, which it looks like it's floating until we put our porcupine in front of it, and now it looks like it's all part of the scene. I have another little mushroom to add, and then I have my little snail. Now I can add my clouds to the top, and one of the differences between my card and Yaine's is she had a sentiment banner up here. So once I got these clouds up here and I glued the big one directly to the background, this one I'm popping up with some foam adhesive, and I will do the same for the little bitty cloud. But once I got them up there, I felt like there was something missing in the sky because I did not have that sentiment strip that she had because my sentiment is inside of the heart. So I felt like I needed some more stamped images, and there's these little hearts in this stamp set. There's a double heart as well as one single heart. So I stamped and colored those, cut those out with the coordinating dies, and I'll just add these up in the clouds, and I felt like that really helped with the balance, and now I have some stamped and colored images all around the card, not just at the bottom. And of course, I love glitter on my cards, so I'm adding some Stickles glitter to the hearts, the mushrooms, and the snail shell. I will also add just little dabs of it to these ferns that are in the background, and that really helps catch the eye when that glitter hits the light. And then I'm also adding some to just the tops of the poofs of the clouds. And then here is my finished card, which was inspired by Yainea's card. And I just love how it turned out. It's so cute. And I love that message inside of the heart. I just think it's perfect.
Oh my goodness, Shari, I love these cards so much. I think the Radiant Heart backdrop is so fun, and I love that it fits the Magic Heart messages, or that you can put a cute little critter inside too. I mean, look how rainbow and fun and sparkly this is. I just love it. And next up, we have some incredible cards by the design team, and this one by Grace is just stunning. I am in love with this background and how she added those cute little bees, and as you open it up, you have the Happy Valentine's message inside. This is just so sweet and so fun, and I love that you can bring out any of your favorite critters for these cute Valentine's Day Magic Iris cards. This Radiant Heart backdrop by Callie is so fun. I love how she fit rainbow rays into each one. Oh my goodness. This card by Mindy is so much fun. The paper airplane mice are just adorable. And as you open up that magic iris, you get the lovely magic heart message inside. I just think this is so sweet and so fun. And I love it with that falling heart stencil. This card by Elena is so sweet, and I love the little hugging porcupines on the banner with the heart in the background. Oh my goodness. This card by Shari is so much fun. Holographic paper looks absolutely amazing behind the Radiant Heart backdrop. And then here Lynette shows us that red and white is the perfect combo for a Valentine's Day card. This card here by Audrey uses our brand new heart wreath stencil, which looks so pretty with a gold embossed magic heart message on the inside. And then here, this card by Elise is so fun. I just love this radiant heart backdrop as a beautiful backdrop for critter scenes. And then this card here by Letitia is just gorgeous. I love how she made the magic heart message the star of the show. So we cannot wait to see your magic iris cards and your heart message cards and your radiant heart backdrop cards, so make sure to share them with us. Thank you so much for watching today, and I hope you have an absolutely amazing day. Bye!